Hello and welcome to Granada Reports. We are live with the latest across the northwest.
Thanks for tuning in on the programme this evening.
Thousands of miles away, but Jewish communities in the northwest fear the hate that fueled the attacks on Israel could spread to the UK.
That's why we need the police to do what they're doing and continue patrolling, continue helping.
He's all right, Jack. Jack Rugby, the teenage son of Fusilier Lee Rugby, wins big at the Pride of Britain Awards.
From Mr. Saturday Night to a stage near you. Now Matthew Kelly says he'll never get bored of treading the boards.
And I'll have the full forecast for the next few days from across the region a little later on.
So please do stay with us. But first tonight, and the attacks on Israel by the militant terrorist group Hamas have been described as beyond belief by one Jewish leader in the northwest.
The death toll in the conflict has risen to more than 1,000 and rising. But 2,000 miles away in our region's biggest Jewish community in North Manchester and Bury, there are fears the hatred which caused the attack on Israel may cause a rise in anti-Jewish crime back home. Well, meanwhile, many people of Palestinian heritage living here are also fearful for the safety of their families as the Israeli military hits back. Well, in the last half hour, Greater Manchester Police say they've stepped up their protection of communities amid the ongoing conflict. Tim Scott has tonight's top story.
It began on Saturday with rocket attacks and armed militants allied to Hamas breaking through the barriers on the Gaza Strip. They entered Israel, killed hundreds of people and took hostages.
The fact that Hamas terrorists, who are an internationally prescribed organisation included here in the UK, have seen fit to storm Israeli cities, kibbutzes, towns and murder and kidnap and torture innocent men, women and children. It's just beyond belief, really.
In the Jewish community in North Manchester, charity worker Eli Hassel told me his cousin was injured in Israel at the weekend. Other family and friends there are terrified.
My other uncle, who's in a village near the border, all the soldiers have left because it's an emergency, and now they're left with no soldiers, no protection. So he had to stay up all night. My uncle had to stay up all night protecting his village. And it's very, very scary to see all of this is happening.
Are Jewish people in the UK worried for their own safety over here? Is there a sense that this could escalate and now flare up in the UK, this conflict?
Yes. Yes, and that's why we need the police to do what they're doing and continue patrolling, continue helping.
Estate agent Tolly Yadakin condemned what Hamas had done, but expressed his frustration that the Israel-Palestine conflict has festered for decades.
Just gone on for years, and it doesn't look like there'll ever be peace. They've tried over the years negotiating, and it's just over a bit of land, and it's just, in my view, nobody should lose their life over land. On either side, there shouldn't be any civilian casualties, there shouldn't be any casualties, but for people to just fight over land or religion is just ridiculous and it shouldn't be happening.
In Gaza, Israeli retaliation saw this university building bombed. Liverpool-based Dr. Abdel Hamad was working nearby. He says people there can't escape the onslaught.
I don't think there are any means of escaping or going anywhere. So they are resigned to whatever comes. That's the situation in Gaza.
This new Middle East conflict has reopened old wounds. Israel and Hamas are fighting again, and no one is sure just when or how it will end. Tim Scott, ITV News.
Well, a number of leading Labour MPs have condemned the attack on Israel at their party's conference in Liverpool. Our
political correspondent Andrew Misra is there for us. Andrew, what's been said?
Well, Mel, in the last hour it's been more about what hasn't been said. A moment of silence in solidarity with Israel held in the main conference hall, led by Ashton-under-Lyne MP and Deputy Labour leader Angela Rayner.
Over 1,000 people, including at least 10 British citizens, are feared to have lost their lives. I would be grateful now to remember all the victims and sympathy with their bereaved, if you could join us in a moment's silence.
This is an issue that's led to some divisions within the party for many years now. It is perhaps a sign of how much the party has changed that it hasn't dominated the agenda here, although there was a small pro-Palestine protest earlier. The former local MP for this area, who stepped down from the party due to allegations of anti-Semitism in 2019, says the mood now feels very different.
The last Labour Party conference I attended before I was forced out of it for anti-Semitism was one where there was a mass display of pro-Palestinian flags, jeering, shouting. It was the most horrendous atmosphere and I felt very afraid. This conference is very different. People are supportive. Most people here want a just peace between Israelis and Palestinians. We want two states, and the last way to get that is mass murder of people like we've seen in the last day or two.
So it does sound to be a united party, and Sir Keir Starmer will hope it stays that way ahead of his big speech here tomorrow afternoon.
Andrew in Liverpool, thank you.
And there'll be more about that terrible situation in Israel on the ITV News at 6:30. Next though, and a man accused of the murder of Ashley Dale in Liverpool threatened to shoot her boyfriend, according to messages she sent to friends in the weeks before her death.
Yeah, 28-year-old Ashley was killed in her own home in Old Swan last August. 5 men are on trial accused of her murder.
Our correspondent Victoria Grimes is there now. Victoria, this was the second day of evidence in this trial. What were the jury told?
Well, Anne, once again, Ashley Dale's voice rang out across the courtroom as a series of messages she sent in the weeks leading up to her death were played. Now, the prosecution say she made the recordings in increasing fear over what may become of a long-standing feud between her partner, Lee Harrison, and one of the defendants, 26-year-old Niall Barry. Now, the jury heard that she'd been concerned about Mr Harrison attending the funeral and wake of a friend, Ricky Warnick, who died in July last year, because Niall Barry may also be there. As it happens, he was there, as was Miss Dale. In a message she sent to a friend that was shown to the court, she refers to Mr Barry and says, "My fella hasn't come because he's saying he's going to shoot him. He doesn't want trouble for Ricky's mum." In other messages and later dates, she detailed her increasing anxiety over the situation, telling another friend, "I don't want to have to go to Lee's funeral next. I just have a bad feeling about everything. When I'm out in the car with Lee, I feel like I'm looking over my shoulder all the time." Now, Ashley was shot dead at the home that she shared with Mr Harrison in Old Swan in August last year. A second defendant, 41-year-old James Witham, has admitted manslaughter but denies murder. He said he'd gone to the house to send a message to Mr Harrison but didn't know that Ashley was there. Now, Niall Barry and 3 others, Sean Zeiss, Joseph Pearce and Ian Fitzgibbon, also all deny murder and also conspiracy to murder. They deny that too, and they deny conspiracy to possess a prohibited weapon. A 6th defendant, Callum Radford, who's 26 of no fixed address, denies assisting an offender. Now, the trial's due to last for between 6 and 8 weeks and will continue here tomorrow.
Victoria Grimes at Liverpool Crown Court, thank you very much.
In other news today, a 29-year-old has appeared in court charged with the murder of a man in Blackpool. Daniel Alsop was assaulted on Beavesden Road last Monday. He died as a result of injuries which a post-mortem found to be blunt force trauma.
A man's been charged after a pedestrian was seriously injured following a collision in Liverpool. 28-year-old Conor Mears appeared before Liverpool Magistrates Court earlier. 2 other people have been arrested in connection with the incident that happened in the early hours of Saturday morning. A man remains in hospital with life-threatening injuries.
The number of Tesco stores on the Isle of Man will increase by 900% after the ShopRite chain agreed to sell its business. ShopRite has been a staple on the island for more than 50 years and has now agreed to sell its 9 stores to Tesco. The acquisition brings the number of Tesco stores on the island to 10, including its existing store in Douglas.
Now, it was a very special night honouring some incredibly deserving people last night. The Daily Mirror Pride of Britain Awards took place in London.
Yeah, the event celebrates those people who have made amazing contributions to their communities, and there were plenty of famous faces there to congratulate them.
And among those at the ceremony was our very own finalist in the Fundraiser of the Year category, and James Webster was on the red carpet for the VIP event.
arriving for a night of glitz and glamour.
It's special because it's celebration. And we need to celebrate other people's work, the commitment other people have given to other people.
I always say it's ordinary people doing extraordinary things up and down the country, and they live extraordinary lives helping other people.
This annual event is one that the host, Ashley Banjo, always looks forward to.
I get to know the stories, I read them, and get to meet the winners at a really special winners' dinner that we do. And yeah, it's just always incredible. You always come away feeling so humbled and so inspired.
This red carpet isn't about the celebrities who are being interviewed here. It's about the extraordinary people in all our communities who are being celebrated here for what they've done, not for themselves, but for the benefit of others.
Among the winners, John Rastrick, who rescued a woman from a burning car on the motorway.
And as I run up to the car, I'm thinking, I hope there's only one person in there, because I know I'm going to get one out, because I'm not going to get anybody else out, because the car's gone.
He's just stopped, saw this happen in front of him and said, right, I'm going to go and do that. Not everybody will be that brave, but here he is. That's why he's got the medal.
Dame Avril Mansfield, who became the UK's first female professor of surgery.
I had a good career, worked hard, wanted to encourage the young, wanted to encourage young women in particular to pursue a career that they felt that they could embrace.
Your journey, your career is absolutely inspiring. So I'm just so thankful everything Dame Avril has done for medicine, for the NHS, but particularly for women. I think it's absolutely incredible.
8-year-old Ravi, who's raised thousands of pounds while being treated for a brain tumour.
I mean, until I was told I won, I didn't know that a Pride of Britain award was a thing.
Also honoured for raising money, all the nominees for the Fundraiser of the Year, including our very own finalist.
Everything's the highlight because I've never done anything like this before. I know I'm a winner, but then everybody's a winner, no matter who it is. We've all won tonight, haven't we? And it's not about us, it's about other people.
A special award too for Alan Bates, one of the sub-postmasters wrongly accused of being to blame for missing money.
It was a long fight. I mean, it's been going on for 20 years from when I started. It started as a hobby, but then got out of hand, so it was... but we eventually finished in the courts, and that was the thing that really made the difference for us, and we managed to expose the truth then.
For me, what Alan represents is something that inspired me to become a lawyer in the first place. This idea that one single person can make a difference.
Many of the famous faces here agreed it was humbling to meet the winners.
We're here to celebrate Britain's proud of, the amazing people of Britain and the things that they've accomplished and gone through, and just to celebrate them.
It's always exciting to come to an event like this where, it's not about us because we're on the telly, it's about people who are doing amazing things every single day.
The vast majority of people in this country are nice people. And this is like the pinnacle of that. It's superb, incredible they are.
We give you
the Pride of Britain 2023.
The full ceremony will be shown this Thursday evening at 8 on ITV1 and ITVX. James Webster, ITV News.
Lovely stuff there, and well done to our region's winner Vera. And there was one more big highlight for our region to celebrate as 13-year-old Jack Rugby, the son of the murdered soldier Lee Rugby, was named Good Morning Britain's Young Fundraiser of the Year. Jack was only 2 when his father was killed by terrorists while walking back to his barracks in London 10 years ago.
Amazingly, Jack has now raised more than £100,000 for a charity called Scotty's Little Soldiers, which supports children who've lost a parent in the armed forces.
Well, Blackburn Rovers have bounced back too with a win in the Championship. They ended a run of 4 straight defeats with a 4-0 win at Queen's Park Rangers. Meanwhile, Preston were beaten, but in League One, Blackpool held Charlton to a 2-2 draw. Bolton, Fleetwood and Wigan all lost. But Stockport are sitting in second place in League Two after a 1-0 win over Doncaster. Salford City secured their 3rd straight win, beating Crewe 4-2. Morecambe are in the top 10 after a 3-1 win at Colchester. A point behind them are Accrington, who beat Forest Green Rovers 2-1. Tranmere Rovers came from behind to draw 2-2 against Grimsby, while Barrow earned a 1-1 draw in their first league match against Notts County since 1970. Now, more controversy for match officials, this time in the Women's Super League. After Manchester City's Alex Greenwood took 26 seconds to take a free kick, she was given a second yellow card for time wasting and sent off. Lauren Hemp was then also sent off after picking up a second yellow card for a foul. City were leading at the time thanks to this strike from Chloe Kelly, but down to 9 players conceded in injury time as Chelsea salvaged a 1-1 draw. Elsewhere, Everton lost, but Liverpool continued their 100% record with a 2-0 win over Aston Villa. In Rugby League, after a playoff defeat to Catalan Dragons, the curtain has finally fallen on the career of one of St Helens' all-time greats. In 20 seasons with the Saints, James Roby won 6 Super League titles, 4 Challenge Cups and a Man of Steel award, but Saints couldn't give him the perfect send-off. Instead, it will be Catalan Dragons taking on Wigan Warriors in this week's grand final. After Wigan cruised past Hull KR in their semi-final, they scored 3 tries in the opening 12 minutes before going on to win by 42 points to 12 to book a first trip to Old Trafford under head coach Matt Peat. Now, she's the golden girl of British athletics, and today Liverpool's Katarina Johnson-Thompson has been back to school. The heptathlon world champion was a special guest at the unveiling of a giant mural showcasing her success. And as David Chisnall's been finding out, she's not the only Liverpudlian being immortalised to inspire the next generation.
A medal mural for a world champion and former pupil. Liverpool heptathlete Katarina Johnson-Thompson returned to her old primary school today for the unveiling of this giant artwork showcasing her sporting success, as well as fellow Liverpudlian and Paralympic table tennis star Jack Hunter-Spivey.
It's a bit surreal, to be honest. The reveal was insane. I remember I cried my eyes out at year 6 at these gates when I had to leave and go to secondary school, so it's a bit full circle to be coming back. That is like one of my favourite moments of my life, and now that it's in paint and it's permanent and yeah, that's there, it just means everything to me.
Did you ever think when you started out, right, I'm going to have a massive mural of my face outside a primary school?
No, absolutely not. I think when I first started, I just dreamed about getting the ball over the table. Me and Kat are just normal people like they are that have achieved great things, and if we can show that's possible for them as well, to achieve anything that they want to, whether that's sport or whatever they want to do in life, for me, that's worth more than any medals that we can show.
Well, it was here at St Mark's Catholic School in Halewood that a young Katarina started out her sporting journey, and the hope is this new mural will inspire others to follow in her footsteps.
What was it like meeting Kat and Jack today?
In my head, it was like, oh, I'll be fine, and I'm just like dead nervous, just shaking when I had to like ask the questions. It's just because they were looking directly at me, like just me. I was like, I couldn't do it, but I did.
I felt good, like meeting someone who's just so inspiring.
Back then she just told me that she tried so really hard and she's actually achieved to be an athlete. So yeah, that was really inspiring for me, to know that I can do that as well.
You're an inspiration to them. How does that feel?
Yeah, no, it feels incredible, and I've already set them a goal, a vertical jump to the gold medal. I think only one of them could do it. But yeah, they're really enthusiastic, and it's good just to see kids that are into sport.
This mural captures Katarina's joy at winning gold at this summer's World Championships. After a difficult time, she wants to recreate this moment next year in Paris and win her first Olympic medal.
I'm focused, I'm on job, and yeah, I've not had the best of luck at the Olympics, so I hope that next year can be different.
There we go, we could add another medal to the mural as well. You could have a second one around your neck.
Put my left hand out.
Well, Kat and Jack's journey will be followed extra closely by these lucky youngsters who join them at today's unveiling. And who knows, one day one of these may have their own sporting success added to this wall of fame. David Chisnall, ITV News, Liverpool.
Yeah, well done to Kat and Jack. And Jack, of course, has presented some sports reports for us on Granada Reports. So we're going to claim that as the first time a Granada Reports presenter has had a mural about them on a wall somewhere. So there's hope for us all.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was going to say, you know you've made it when you've got your face on the wall.
Maybe us next year, us three.
Yeah, still time. Thanks, Chris. Now, To a man who we knew as Mr. Saturday Night back in the 80s and 90s when he was hosting huge shows like Stars in Their Eyes and You Bet. Well, these days, Matthew Kelly is more comfortable appearing on the stage.
Yeah, after winning the prestigious Olivier Award almost 20 years ago for Of Mice and Men, he certainly proved his training at Liverpool Everyman Theatre was a success.
Well, now he's looking forward to bringing his stage show Noises Off to the Lowry in Salford next week.
Our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore caught up with him and the cast when they appeared at the Blackpool Grand Theatre last week.
It took 2 days to get the set up, so we shan't have time for a dress rehearsal.
Well, I am now on the set of Noises Off here at the Blackpool Grand Theatre, and it's heading to the Lowry next week. I'm here with the wonderful cast: Simon Shepherd, Lisa Goddard and Matthew Kelly.
Manchester's own, yeah.
Manchester's own Matthew Kelly, yeah.
Local boy makes good.
How are you all finding it, Sam?
We love it here. We're at the Blackpool Grand at the moment, and it's a beautiful theatre. The audiences are great. Everywhere we go, they laugh and laugh and laugh. You know, people are gasping for breath because it's a really funny play.
Michael Frayn, who wrote the play, he's actually just celebrated his 90th birthday.
I know, it's wonderful, isn't it? And this has been going for 40 years, and it is one of the funniest plays ever written. It was first on in 1982, and it's fantastic. Very difficult to learn.
Act 2 is what you see in Act 1, only reversed, so you see what happens backstage. Michael Frayn wrote a play for Lynn Redgrave 40-odd years ago, and he went to see it backstage, and he went, do you know what, there are funnier things going on behind this set than there are on stage. And that's how he wrote Noises Off.
And it's heading to the Lowry next week. You're coming home.
It's my hometown, yes. And because I'm an Urmston boy, right? And I am still the president of the Urmston Musical Society.
That's brilliant.
I love them up there, and they're very kind to me. But I do love going up and seeing their shows quite often in the local secondary school. Not many family up there. I'm only an old neighbour of my mum's who always comes to see the show. Yes, Joanna, I mean you.
Yeah. And shall we tell them that my first ever job was working alongside the amazing Matthew Kelly.
Was it?
On Stars in Their Eyes.
Yeah.
My job was to get a big box of chocolate bars, and he was like, come on, Calpol. And he handed it out to every single crew member, and you knew everybody's name, didn't you?
Because that's how you learn people's names, and that's how you buy affection. People will do anything for chocolate.
Well, best of luck out of the Lowry. Enjoy being at home.
I love coming back to Manchester because Manchester people are great, and the town that you come from are always on your wavelength. And that's something I've learned over the years. Northern audiences are way more generous.
The loveliest man in showbiz, this man. I mean, don't take offence, Simon.
Yeah.
Loveliest man in showbiz.
No, but I'm working towards it.
How lovely.
The curtain will rise in 2 minutes.
Oh, Matthew Kelly, what a hero.
I loved him on Stars in Their Eyes. Matthew, tonight I'm going to be...
Barry White. Every day of the week. It's all about the perm. And you?
I think Kylie Minogue with the big wig.
Nice.
Big curly wig.
Very nice. Here's Kerry.
Mum, wet wipes, toilet or bin?
Bin. Why?
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, very good evening to you. Very much like the weekend where we get the sunny spells, feeling really quite nice and pleasant with temperatures into the low 20s. Hasn't been the case across all parts of the northwest though today. A lot of low cloud around, especially first thing. Not the best of visibility for Mavis Smith's bird watching session first thing this morning. It was quite choppy out into the Irish Sea first thing. Those winds have begun to ease during the course of the afternoon, but still quite a lot of low cloud out into the Irish Sea and for the Isle of Man. But yes, where we get the sunnier spells, looking quite autumnal but feeling quite summery. So we've had high pressure to the south today, feeding us those warm conditions, certainly above the average for the time of year, but we look to low pressure to the north and to the southwest. At first, a front trying to push its way in from the north tomorrow afternoon, and then another one greets it from the southwest as we head into Wednesday, and by Thursday we're left with a north-south split in terms of temperatures, sunshine and outbreaks of rain as we head towards the end of the week. So in a bit more detail, generally dry, but quite a lot of cloud around overnight tonight. Some misty low cloud over the hills and the potential for some rain and drizzle for the Isle of Man and parts of Cumbria towards dawn. Pretty mild tonight. These are the temperatures we'd expect for the time of year. by day. So as we head through into tomorrow morning, quite a lot of clouds and mist and murk in places. 7:28 and 6:27 are your sun times, but hopefully it should improve for a time, and certainly down towards parts of Cheshire, Merseyside, the high peak will get the best of the brighter spells and the temperatures. But we have got this system coming through. It brings showers initially, then longer spells of rain, at least for a time, as we head through into Wednesday, and then that north-south split as we head into Thursday.
Cleaned up well.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
I'm still thinking of stars in their eyes. I feel like we need some dry ice now just to disappear in a...
That's coming tomorrow, right? We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching.